So we had the beginning of the college football semifinals last night, guys. Not Ohio State, but Notre Dame versus Penn State. I'm gonna go around the room, ask everybody how they thought about that game. Start with you, B, because your brother, your co-host, is a big Irish fan. How did you like that game last night?
Well, it paid, so I liked it a lot.
I didn't like it. I didn't like it for that.
Everybody and their brother was talking about the under, so I stayed completely away from that, and I just took the Irish -1.5. So it was a good night. But yeah, man, it was the game I thought we were going to see. There were just enough plays made in the passing game by the Irish to win the game. I think really wasn't a lot, but they did a little bit better than Penn State. Aller again. I think the kid's talented. I think the kid's talented as far as arm talent goes, but he also had 0 wide receivers catch passes last night. Not gonna win a lot of games doing that in the CFP Final Four
or in the NFL. I was one of those people that took the Irish and the under. The under looked real good for about 3 quarters, and then they started scoring touchdowns. They figured out you get more points if you get into the end zone for some reason. Yeah, I was not happy about that. But shout out to the Irish. I did pick the Irish to win the whole thing. So
I do listen, man. I think a lot of the problem is with Penn State's wide receiver talent, not just with Aller. Their wide receiver talent is not great. Now,
quarterback ain't great either.
On the other side of the ball, I think Penn State on defense has several players I think are going to be very good Sunday players, very good NFL players. Abdul Carter is a beast.
Speaking of Abdul Carter, Tate, was he the best player on the field yesterday?
He definitely was the best player on the field. He's number 2 on Mel Kiper's board. I'm sure he's in top 5 in everybody's board. He was a difference maker on defense. When he wasn't in, he sat out of series with I believe the first series, Notre Dame went down and scored a touchdown and tied it up 10-10, or was that 17-17?
I think the first drive of the second half.
The first drive Notre Dame scored a touchdown on.
That was in the first. That was the end of the halftime. It went in 10-10 at halftime.
Right.
Well, what gave him 17 was the second half that he sat out. He didn't sit out much the first half, but he sat out the whole series in the second half. Notre Dame took it down, scored a touchdown in that series.
Yep. That's
so they were missing. He got pressure all night on Riley Leonard. You're right. Aller had a terrible game.
Brutal.
And I said he was the best quarterback left.
Terrible.
And he didn't play like it, but he is the best one of the 4 that'll go highest in the draft. He's a first-round pick. You sound like Big G calling Caleb Williams garbage when you call Aller garbage. He had a bad game.
He had a garbage game. If he's I get that
is he even coming out?
I haven't heard these coming out.
Now he's not for sure.
He has to measure.
He has 5 games to decide if he's going to come out or not after they lost. So 5 days. There's 5 days to decide if he's going to come out.
He'll be back.
I'll make the decision for him. Bring your ass back to school.
Listen, Abdul Carter's playing injured too, not just hurt. Like that shoulder, he should be sitting out. And you watched him bend around the edge with one arm and still make plays.
Speaking of injuries, Mod, our guest stand-in for the homies this week. I know you. This is probably I'm probably answering the question for you, but I know you're probably licking your chops, looking at all the injuries that Notre Dame was running around with. Like, man, this is gonna be a cakewalk for Texas.
No, but I'm gonna get to that. Let me get to that. It's not gonna be. It's not going to be a cakewalk, but let's talk about this. I wanted to say something about the Penn State game. We talk about Abdul Carter, but man, Dennis Sutton, Danny Dennis Sutton, number 33. That dude they needed to take him into the pit last night, man. Have a mental evaluation. he is an animal. Like, I mean, he really got something wrong with him, man. Something wrong with him. He is really good, man, for real. And I was like, I knew Carter was good, but number 33 really went out there and got him a check, man. It ain't gonna be a crazy check, but he got him a check.
With a nice pick, too.
One of those guys on Texas, in Penn State's D line declared for the draft today too. Not just Carter, another one.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if it was number 33, he got him a check. I mean, when he floated back in zone coverage, got an interception. That's big boy ball, man. And we the only big boys that the big boys watch. I need for you to understand it. But now coming to this Texas game, this Texas Ohio State game, that's a national championship, if you ask me. I mean, and whoever plays and whoever wins this game, it's not going to be a cakewalk with Notre Dame, but I expect either one of those teams to beat Notre Dame. Notre Dame's a really good team. And then, to win the game, ATX rider stepped up, Great House did his thing. Austin, Texas representative, Austin Westlake, did his thing last night. I was proud of that.
So, all right, let's move on to tonight's game. The reason why we're early. Texas is playing Ohio State, Tate versus Mod. Real quick, Mod, why is Texas going to be in the championship game?
Good question. So first, much respect. I'm not talking from a fan's perspective. This is the Brother Bowl, and my brother would be saying some outlandish stuff today. I just want to say that I respect Ohio State to the fullest, right? Respect them. But when we're talking about
whoa, Mod.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but it's what we do on this show. We cut people off. Especially when you say something wrong. We don't do respect here.
Well,
we don't do respect.
I'm built that way.
10 toes down, Mod. I know you're in Texas and you got to do that southern nice stuff. No, we do 10 toes down. Why is your team playing in the championship? We need to know.
Well, for number one, Texas run 80% zone. B-Dirt know what I'm talking about here. Texas looks more like Michigan, and Texas looks more like Penn State. Texas looks more like Nebraska than they do Oregon. So we run 80% zone, which is going to be hard for Will Howard. Is 0-3 against us. That's going to be hard for Will Howard to get on. And the key tonight is our defensive tackles. Our two defensive tackles are, 2 steps, maybe 1 step behind Michigan's defensive tackles because they've got 2 beasts, but our defensive ends are way better. So when it comes down to it, I think we get in Will Howard's face a lot tonight, cause him to make mistakes that, he's going to turn back into a pumpkin. He had hard games against Penn State. He had hard games against Nebraska. This wasn't just luck. This man did this for 12 games this year. So, he played excellent in the playoffs. Absolutely. But this is a defense he's never seen before. He's seen glimpses of it with Michigan, but this is a better defense than that. And let's not act like September 7th didn't happen. And let's not act like November 30th didn't happen. They both happened. And in our common opponent, we beat Michigan 31-13. They lost to Michigan 13-10. Here's why this is going to be a good game, and I expect Texas to win.
Tate, same question. Why is the Buckeyes going to stomp all over the Longhorns tonight?
Well, I'm not as hot takeish or outlandish as the homie Big G. So I'm just gonna say that. Ma mentioned Will Howard's 0-3 against Texas. Yeah, 0-3 with Kansas State. So I completely discount that. Will Howard, 32 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, second in college football in rating, first in Big Ten in touchdown passes. So I don't foresee him having a problem because if Texas comes out and plays like to make it a good game, Texas has to play their best game to make it a good game.
Which we haven't played yet.
If Texas plays like they did against Arizona State, it's going to be a skull drugging going on. And we might even go over there and grab Bevo by his horns and yank him around too. Brutus might do that. So I got Ohio State is just too potent everywhere, man. The receivers, the running backs, and I really think the one that's going to lay an egg is going to be Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers has the pressure. Quinn Ewers playing his last game in Texas, win or lose, unless they win in his national championship game. But that ain't happening. I don't know why we said, "Mod, you looking your chops," because Texas get to play injured Notre Dame. They're not playing Notre Dame. We know they're not playing Notre Dame. Ohio State gonna go ahead and take this game. I'm gonna give you my score prediction right now. It's gonna be 34-21 Ohio State.
B, I need you to break the tie. Who's winning tonight?
Well, I think the key to this game for Texas, and I think Mod hit the nail on the head with this one, Broughton and Collins up the middle, getting pressure up the field without giving up lane integrity there or letting people get outside. I think if you come from the edge, you're going to get some more swing passes and get Howard out of the pocket. So I like that I think their defensive tackles are stout enough to get some pressure there. I do want to tell Mod here, it's not often I get a side with Mod, so I do want to tell Mod here that this is the same skull-dragging expletives that I heard going into the Ohio State-Michigan game. And I pointed out things like, Ohio State only beating Penn State by 1 score, only beating Nebraska by 4 points, losing to Oregon. Like, they've played a lot more tough games than you would think they did when you hear them talk about how they're dynamic they are and they're going to skull drag everybody they play. So I think this is going to be a really good game. You look at the 6.5 point spread right now on DraftKings. FPI
Crazy.
gives the matchup. They always give the percentage of who will win, and they have a 51% on Texas. So when you look at betting value, you get plus 6.5, or you get plus 210 if you take them heads up. And FPI has them a slight favorite in this game. It's also being played in their backyard in Dallas, Texas. So I think this lines up. Now, listen, I've been kind of on Ewers' tail no, Diddy, don't do that, on all year as far as giving him a lot of, negative takes on him checking down too much. He's going to have to push the ball down. Ohio State's been great on their first drives of the game in the last 2 games. So I think Texas needs to come out, start hot.
Which we have, B-Dirt.
Which you have. You have the past few games, without a doubt. So they need to come out and start hot and not give up more than 3 points in the first drive. And if those things happen, I expect Texas to at least cover this spread. I think Texas wins.
Yeah, and here's something I have to say that I didn't say. This is the healthiest we've been since game 1. Everybody's healthy. Everybody's 100. So we're 44 deep. Real talk. So this is you have first team, second team, all healthy, and we're ready to play. This is that type of game. And Denzel Burke, remember the name. You're gonna hear it. That's our pansy. That's our one. He's got the whole Isaiah Bond is back, right? Which moves Golden over. So if we want to try to move a safety over, Ransom, or we want to move Downs over, and if we want to go both safeties to the side and cover in the nickel, you're torch there because Ryan Wingo's a good. So I think what's happening here is this is shades of 05 for me. I keep hearing Ohio State. 72% of the money in Vegas went to Ohio State. It's just a setup for me, man. It did the same thing against 05, and the OG, triple OG just went down and took their hearts. So
now the most demonstrative thing I'll say about this game, barring injury coming out of this game, whoever wins this game is going to take the crown home. No offense, Mr. Lyons and your beloved Fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Listen,
I'm just
gonna say I'm a casual observer. I was waiting for one of you all to sway me so I could go ahead and strike up my DraftKings real quick. And I got to tell you, I'm siding with Tate. He was more demonstrative. I like his argument better. And plus, you all said Ohio State plays games too close to the vest. Last time I saw Ohio State, they drug a team up and down the floor. They bounced them pretty helmets off the pavement. more than once.
A team that they number one played already that they should have won the first game.
The number one
two,
team in the nation.
Number two had film on. Number three had a week off. Number four had no running game. Number five, their DBs were torched. Yeah, okay, you supposed to win that game. You supposed to.
They
win it the way you want.
They beat the number one team in the country. They lost to the number one team in the country, and they housed by 1 point. And Michigan's a rivalry game. They upset them. But I attribute that game. I attribute that game all to play calling by Ohio State. And they come out and take advantage of what they should have. And if they go out and go up 14-0 against Michigan, that game's done too.
I agree with you, Tate. My take wasn't that they played it too close to the vest. That Michigan game, 100% coaching issues. We've talked about that. My take is when you play close games against Nebraska and Penn State, I think Texas is better than both of those teams. If you can't beat those teams by more than 7, I think Texas can at least cover the spread, if not beat.
And both of those games were on the road. I think Penn State.
You're on the road right now. You're in Dallas, Texas, baby.
Penn State's a really, really good team. I had Penn State going to the championship against Ohio State. But, so playing in Happy Valley and beating them at home in their house by 7 or 8, I think that's okay. The Michigan loss is unacceptable, but I think that was the wake-up call that woke up this playoff monster, though. That game right there.
But this is all I hear from the opposing side. Oh, they were woke up. You don't think Arizona State game woke Texas up? You don't think that anyway, shape, form, or fashion?
Listen, I would rather have the Big Ten bring a chip home. I would rather have Penn State and Ohio State playing.
I'm just saying, the same things.
The more I dig in, the more I figure. I look things like Mod does.
Yeah, and it's like I'm looking at things from just what it is. This is what it is. The game is going to be a good game. It's going to be better than everybody. They don't cover. So, if you're trying to get it, Ohio State won't cover the spread. If they win, they're not covering. This is a 3-point game. This is a 3-point game either way. Or, like I said 27-20, but I still don't believe that Ohio State is a 6 points better or 7 point. I've seen it all the way up to 7. And
did we think they were better than 21 against Oregon or 20-something against SEC Tennessee? Did we think that?
That Tennessee ain't Texas. Wrong T. Wrong UT, homie.
Okay. The thing about it, in 31 minutes, we'll start to see.
31 minutes, we're going to see. But Texas has came out hot in these last 2 games, and we're going to come out hot.
Against Clemson and Arizona State, the 2 easiest teams you could have played, we played the 2 toughest teams you could have played and smashed them.
Yeah, okay.
Clemson was the 12. Clemson was the 12. Arizona State had to be like 10 or something.
So, Tate, who's the higher seed?
They were ranked 4th going into the.
Who's the higher seed going into this game?
I'm sorry?
Who's the higher seed going into this game?
Texas is.
Yeah, this is the recency bias that we're getting because everybody got a chance to see Ohio State. Oh, they beat Oregon. Oh, but Texas ain't did nothing but they got beat by one team, got out coached by one coach. Beat her, he'll tell you, coaching matters. Got out coached by
you did play your
Smart.
Tate's right though. Tate, you did play your best game of the season last week.
And guess what? We ain't played our best game yet.
Who says you can play a better game than that? All right, let's go ahead and get that long-awaited break in before we can start talking about some other stuff. If you're watching live, stay seated, stay put. We got some more hot takes coming on the other side of this break. B, have you been keeping up with Hard Knocks, AFC North?
I have not. Last 2 weeks, I've been out.
So no one does their homework. All right, so let's skip on past the NFL, football in general. Let's go to the other sport that's in season mode right now. The NBA, everyone's favorite sport, no matter what the ratings tell you. And no, I'm not going to talk about any games that's going on right now. I want to talk about the drama off the court. Jimmy Buckets in Miami. So I think it was last week. A reporter asked him why he doesn't have any joy. And Jimmy Butler said, I just don't have any joy playing in Miami right now. I don't think I can ever get it back. To which the Miami Heat suspended him for conduct detrimental to the team. And they're trying to find a trade partner for him. And you know how the whole song and dance goes. Couple of questions, guys. First one, who do you think is a good match? What team would be a good fit for Jimmy Butler?
That Miami would be willing to trade him to.
That does matter. He does carry a I think $50 million contract salary rather. So someone has to match that.
Oh man.
You know, the team that's popping up all over the place. Everyone thinks, they're a
Golden
match made in heaven. Well, I wasn't thinking Golden State. I was thinking Phoenix.
Yeah, but Bradley Beal got to agree to be traded.
That's true. He does have a no trade clause. Bradley Beal has to waive his West Valley rights, as they say, to allow Jimmy Butler on that squad.
I mean,
I think
you got a big that can play kind of a point big. Would the Nuggets make any sense?
The Nuggets actually, I think that would be a nice move for the Nuggets. For one, they did get rid of a lot of contracts, a lot of salary over the last couple of off seasons.
They could use another bucket getter.
They could use another playoff bona fide bucket getter. Yes.
But it's gonna take Jamal Murray to get that deal done. Who else on Denver does Miami want?
Nobody.
It's really gonna be draft picks at that point. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
dump salary and draft picks, or maybe get a 3-team deal in.
Yeah, that's
it would
true.
have to be a 3-team deal for me to even see something like that happening. The other place that even makes sense halfway that you could see, but I mean, who wants to go to Indiana? I mean, you got to have the money, you got to have the players, you got to have the want to have somebody there. But I mean, again, I hear Golden State. Golden State. I don't think he moves the needle at Golden State. I think only somebody with somebody to give is gonna make Miami move. But I mean, he is asking out, so who knows? They might get draft picks and let him go. They may give draft picks and money.
I mean, well, for Jimmy Butler to go anywhere, a team wanting him, have to be a team that just needs that little boost to get over the top. It's going to be a team that's in contention that thinks if we can make this move, then we can truly compete. It's not going to be one of these young teams. We'll give young players and stuff like that. Not going to be none of that. Jimmy Butler's like 34, 35 years old. 35. So, and everywhere he goes, he's always disgruntled. And I don't want to call him a cancer. I like his basketball. I like his basketball character. I mean, he left out of Chicago on a bad note. He left out Minnesota on a bad note. He wanted to stay in Philly, but Philly wanted to get rid of him and traded him down to Miami. He can't keep him home. I mean, and he's far enough out of his prime that I don't even want to deal with it if I'm any other team. I can't think of any team that would want him. Maybe Philly could get him back. They need to shake some things up and trade Paul George and a first-round pick and get Jimmy Butler. I think they'd be better. But Miami would have to want Paul George's contract.
Listen, I know that Jimmy Butler, a notoriously disgruntled player and anything, but especially when you get to the playoffs, if he's gruntled, he is one of the top playoff players in the league, period.
You're right about that. Playoff Jimmy.
Playoff Jimmy's something else, man.
Maybe the Sixers get into a 3-team trade. I mean, are they ready to blow it up? That's not working there, obviously. You got the Kings. They haven't been, there's some pieces you could start moving some people around if you do a 3-team trade.
Yeah, no, agree with that. Probably will take a 3-team trade to make that happen. But none of the young teams treating up one of them.
No.
Well, also, you don't want him on a young team because he's just going to be a cancer and
Right.
blow the whole thing up.
That's what happened in Minnesota with Wiggins and Cat and those guys. Talented team, but he's calling his teammates soft and calling them the young punks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You can't come with that noise, Jimmy.
To be fair about Jimmy Butler, every stop that he's had and every exit he's made, the root of it was money. When he left Chicago is really because it's really because they didn't want to extend him to the big money deal that he wanted. And there was some locker room strife between him and Derrick Rose. Well, him and Derrick Rose and Derrick Rose's fans in the locker room, right? So there is that undertone as well. We got to Minnesota. He wanted his new deal. They're like, no, we're not going to do it. And yes, there was an undertone between him and I believe it was Andrew Wiggins at that time. It was a cat. It was somebody. There was an issue with toughness, and we all know Minnesota back then was not tough.
It was Cat. It was Cat. So let me ask y'all a question. Is there anybody in contention that would want to take Jimmy Butler? Like right now, is there anyone in the top 10 in the East or the West that would say, we're that much better if we get Jimmy Buckets?
Philly. I mean, not Philly, but Phoenix. Easily. I think they're actually the most vocal team.
Not in the top 10.
They're not in the top 10 of the standings in the West.
Correct.
No, they are.
No, they're not. They're 17, 19, and 13.
Oh, no, you're right.
12.
You're right.
12. Sorry.
You're right.
But with that, it don't have to be a top 10 team. It's just gonna be a team that can see they can viably make the playoffs.
I was just trying to get Mod's question to answer the way he wanted. He said top 10.
Top 10 right now. Spurs, maybe?
No.
They're too young. They don't want to come in there and tank with Wemby.
I don't know. That roster would be funny because you got Chris Paul, you got Champagne, Wemby, Sochan, and then you got at some point, Coach Pop is coming back. I don't know. That seems like there's a lot of moving parts there. I don't know about him in San Antonio.
Maybe
even though that's where he's from, though.
Maybe New Orleans.
Maybe.
I don't know where they're understanding, but him and Zion together, the money you put
Zion
together.
just got suspended.
Again?
He got suspended for what? He just came back.
For missing a flight?
Zion, man.
What?
He had a monster game his first game back. I didn't know he was suspended.
Google it.
Zion need to leave them OnlyFans models alone, man.
He had 16 points
on basketball, man.
He came back in shape and everything. He was looking good the other night.
He had 16 points in 17 minutes.
That's a point to me. That's pretty good.
A game. Yeah, that's a game.
I don't think that's very good.
But I think him and Zion and the money you make work. You give him C.J. McCollum. You trade Brandon Ingram.
But they're 7-31, though, Tate.
Oh yeah, they are really bad. Yeah, they're the worst. With the Wizards.
46 minutes ago, New York Post puts up Zion Williamson suspended by Pelicans after showing up late for team flight.
Hey, man, he need to leave them OnlyFans models alone, man. Zion, wow, man. Wow, man.
Yeah, it's on CBS Sports, ESPN. It's in. It's real.
Okay.
What's wrong with it, man? What's wrong with it?
So, yeah, Pace, it's about that time, ain't it, man?
All right, the game is about to kick off. I know you guys got somewhere you got to be. You got to get your your fan voodoo and your juju going in the air. So after the game, where can we see you all next? Where's the next place we could catch you, Tate?
That would be Sunday on the Know It Alls podcast. And I know myself and Big G will be back. Somebody ain't gonna be too happy. Somebody or some people ain't gonna be too happy. So we hash all that out on the Know It Alls on Sunday.
I just hope all three of you all are there. Mod, you're speaking for you. You're also a Know It All. You'll be there Sunday.
I'll be there on Sunday.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm happy to hear that. I hope all three of you guys be there. What about you?
Oh,
You
Bengals-
guys want to jump on and join us for a little bit?
I do not.
On Sunday, I will be in the comments on the know-it-alls trolling one of you two. Either Tate because I was right or Ma because his team cost me money. One of the two is getting trolled for sure. But then the following week, we went AWOL again on pay dirt. I got stuck in Ohio. I never even reached out to pay. That's my fault. But I got stuck in Ohio with work and the snowstorm, and it was a mess. So, yeah, I wasn't on Running Through the Jungle last week, but we'll be back at doing Running Through the Jungle. We'll be talking about the playoff football that we're not in. That'll be the most of the show, but we will also talk about things going on, people that we're interviewing for defensive coordinator jobs and what might be going on there. And yeah.
Hey, B Dirt,
Business
just
as
to you,
usual.
man. Just to you, man. I'm all booked up, man, for the wedding.
Nice.
Got the room reserved and paid for. Got the flight. Everything's ready to go.
All right.
I didn't know you do it.
Thanks,
this
Val.
Hey,
Pay-
it's like I told you in the text. Preparation.
the invitations are getting sent out this week. This weekend we're putting them all together, and they'll go out at the beginning of next week. Hit the mail. Tate called me and said, "Hey man, you got a room book? You got blah blah." I said, "Yeah, man, we got everything. It's going to come out in the invitations next week too, or something like that." And he was like, "Well, can't you just give me the information?" Yeah, sure, man. I'll give you the information. So I had to send it to him. He called up and booked it.
So I'm gonna say this, and I'm definitely getting out of here because we got Corso and he's about to pick who he's picking. Doesn't Desmond Howard look like Woodrow from Fred Sanford? I mean, I'm just saying, Desmond stylists need to really. Woodrow, if you're confused, is Aunt Esther's husband. Desmond Howard looks just like him. His stylists need to do something with this, man.
It's his hairstyle, man.
But I'm out of here, man. Hook 'em. Thank y'all for having me. I'll see you after the game.
And with that, I want to wish everybody a good weekend and good luck in this game, Ohio State versus Texas. Take us home.
I don't know which one's more annoying, by the way, Hook'em or OHIO. They're both pretty bad.
Nothing's more annoying than ILINI.
Oh, that's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate hearing it.
That's pretty bad.
All right, fellas. Well, we'll go ahead and get out of here, man. So take us home, Pay.
Arrest Brett Favre.
Good luck, Tate.
Thanks, man. We'll holler at you.